Hour number 3 here on McElroy and Kublik in the morning. Damian, come with you.
You really might not be watching that baseball game tonight.
No. We're not.
Seems like you got something else.
I'm not going down that path. No.
You were about
Save
to.
that. See, this is the one time. Can't we just leave it in the locker room? Can't we just talk about this in the locker room?
Nah, because you wouldn't have left in the locker room if I had said it. So no. Actually, yeah, we can. We both said questionable things in that last break, so actually we probably can just call it a draw. And
I'll say it because I don't care. Y'all were talking about watching the Hannah Montana 20-year anniversary concert last night and how much y'all should have gotten together to watch it with each other.
let's clarify. Damien said, well, I can't say something part of it, but something along the lines of, have you watched that or are you going to watch that? To which my response was no. But my wife is a big fan, so I will probably end up seeing part of it because my wife is going to want to watch it.
Yeah. You weren't a big Hannah Montana guy growing up?
No, I watched it growing up.
Okay, it's like it's not one of those must-see things. Like you could watch it in July or August. And
no, if they did like a Drake and Josh reunion or something,
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
all about that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was my.
I got you.
I was more of a Nickelodeon kid than a Disney kid.
Yeah, you strike me as a Dan Snyder type guy. Well,
Whoa,
Wait,
okay.
well, I'm just saying, like he made great shows on Nickelodeon.
That was Freudian.
I was
Nickelodeon. Not despite what you tried to say.
no.
What?
He may have said the wrong letter instead of Nickelodeon. He tried to and stopped himself.
Yeah, I got a little tongue tied with Disney and Nickelodeon. But no, he made great shows, bro. Like again, off the field, he was crazy. Like it's insane. But he did. You just said if they had a Drake and Josh reunion, I don't expect him to be there, but
I feel pretty confident he would
I
not.
don't expect him to make an appearance, but I mean, it was a great show. Did you follow up with Miranda Cosgrove? Did you watch iCarly too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow, Mr. Let's keep it in the locker room, and then you just keep going. Just
I mean, since we're
well,
here, like,
you're already in.
since
All
we're
right.
here.
And now it's
Let
just
in the
stray.
cameras.
It's like that is.
No, I was just
I'd
saying.
rather you call me a communist than. Well, I don't know. They're both awful. They're both awful. I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
Dan Schneider
Because I
is
played.
a-
I thought I
is
played
a
like
horrible person.
Yeah, for sure. No, I thought I played a Disney Channel song like a couple weeks ago, and it didn't hit your ear. So I didn't know if you leaned more Nickelodeon than Disney.
Yeah, well, was it one of the High School Musical
Yeah.
things? Yeah, I watched I think I watched the first two of those. I watched Sweet Life
Oh yeah,
of Zach and Cody,
always a bang.
and
Did you watch Proud Family?
no,
Yeah,
I watched
I
some.
kinda
That's
figured
I watched That's So Raven
Okay,
and Corey in the House.
very underrated.
If that's what you were,
No, I was just wondering.
the differentiation there. I watched those. They were good.
I love it. Yeah, they were. That's one of the reasons why I got Disney Plus, man, just to kind of have that nostalgia feel. But I watched a few minutes of the Hannah Montana, 20th anniversary special and Miley Cyrus. Like, I mean, of all the Disney stars during like our era, like people thought she was crazy there for a little bit, which I mean, it's fair enough. I think she kind of was. But when you talk about actual talent and like really like taking over the mainstream, like I look at like Demi Lovato, for example, too. Like, I mean, I know she had some dark demons to get over.
Yeah,
but-
so did Miley at times, but
but I feel like they've overcome a lot of those things.
Yeah, I will say, I think all things considered for Miley Cyrus, she's turned out better than I thought.
Right. Like it was staring down a dark path, and then it was okay, like never mind then. But as far as vocal talent, like I mean, when you look at some of the things that she's done, even post Disney, like okay, like she's
Yeah, she's a good.
a
a good
really-
artist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But whenever you get a chance, you should check it out. I think it'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, maybe next week after we get done with the.
Yeah, because I know you'll be busy this week. Of course, today, the New York Yankees taking on the San Francisco Giants in the day before opening day of baseball.
The special day, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Sweet 16 will be dialed in on that on Thursday, and then Friday, Alabama takes on Michigan in the Sweet 16. We'll all be dialed into that. And then Saturday, you'll be, I guess we'll have a special here when Nate Oates takes the North Carolina job, and I guess Sunday might be the only time you get a chance.
Man,
to
you're
watch.
only giving me to Saturday. I was thinking at least like Monday or Tuesday.
Nah. As soon as the game is over, him or Dusty May is hitting the plane heading to Chapel Hill.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier in the show. Whoever, well, we got to figure out. We'll say whoever wins gets the North Carolina job.
Okay, so Nate Oates is going at North Carolina. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that because I feel like there's a better chance than of retaining Coach Oates. Please don't leave.
But kind of going back to the conversation we had in the event, because again, North Carolina has fired Hubert Davis there in Chapel Hill after 5 seasons. In the event, I know Nick Saban told us not to deal with hypotheticals, but hypothetically speaking, if Nate Oates were to take the North Carolina job, who would Alabama kind of reach for, and who would they potentially go after? Because now it's a situation where the program isn't going. You're not going to the program bare. Like, you're not coming in saying like, man, I got to build this thing from the ground up. It's this train is starting to roll pretty heavy. Who's going to be that next guy to step in and kind of take over and continue this trend?
And this year there wasn't really that mid-major coach that came out and got those wins that having that Sweet 16 or kind of deep turning run that we see in the past. A lot of them will parlay into something.
Mm-hmm.
So
A la Dusty May.
correct, right?
Right. He's probably the last one.
Yeah, and he may be the last one for a while because just the way that the tournament goes now, and that's been a big conversation piece over the first weekend was, essentially Cinderellas are gone, and that those kind of runs just aren't really going to happen. You might be able to win one game like, VCU, St. Louis, some of these teams that pulled off impressive wins. But speaking of St. Louis, to get back to your initial question, that was somebody that that came to top of mind for me. Would be Josh Schertz, who's the St. Louis head coach. And if Nate Oates were to leave, that would be somebody that I think Alabama would go after. And part of my thing with Alabama is just from my perspective, I feel like that's the route you would almost have to go of trying to bring in, because that's what he did with Nate Oates, right? He was at Buffalo and you brought him over here. You tried the thing with Avery Johnson. I mean, okay, Colin Sexton was fun, but
right.
that was about it. Yeah, that wasn't great. He played his son way too much. Oh, he was awful. Awful. Terrible. But now if you were to get back into those waters, when we talk about, like the names we brought up for North Carolina, you're not pulling one of those guys away. You're not pulling the Arizona coach, the Iowa State coach.
Nah.
You're not getting one of those guys to come to Alabama to be the basketball coach. In my opinion, I'd love to be proven wrong in that. I just that doesn't seem like a viable option for Alabama. So I would go, do you look at one of these mid-major coaches that's, that just seems like that would be the path to go to getting a really, really high-quality coach, because you're not going to be able to poach somebody from one of the bigger name programs out there. I mentioned as well, if you wanted to do the Alabama connection kind of thing, that maybe Antoine Petway, someone you'd have a conversation with.
Right.
He's done a great job at Kennesaw, took them to the tournament this year, of course. I mentioned, he's not available now, but, I thought Brian Hodgson would certainly be one of those names that they would have gone after that's familiar with the program and a very similar style of play to Nate Oates. And that would be an easier transition, but now he's going to be the Providence head coach. So that's, kind of off the table, you would assume there.
Is it?
I mean, yes, you could always go back on that and do that. I don't.
I mean, yeah, I would feel.
But then it would take away his great line that he had yesterday about how can you question my recruiting? Look at my wife. Then we get that moment would be nothing.
Yeah, and then but someone's always a better recruiter. Someone had to teach him that.
That's true.
True.
That is true.
that is true. And kind of to your point about the mid majors, it's unique that we're in this position now where the mid major conferences, they don't have deep enough runs, so you're basically taking a chance on a lot of guys that maybe could have stayed at that mid major for a long time and built it up and parlayed into a bigger job. But you look at High Point, had High Point made it a little bit further. I know you ran against Arkansas, but if they would have been in the conversation for Sweet 16 this year, their head coach would probably be looked at as somebody that could, be looked at as the next Alabama head coach. But also, it's tough. But the best thing about that is you're going to be stepping into a position where you're not going to have to, again, build a program up again. You're going to be getting at a sweet spot. Can you hit the momentum going? And how patient are you going to be? Because now Alabama isn't going to be looked at as, hey, we'll give you 2 to 3 years and see if it works. It's now we got to keep this thing moving forward.
Yeah, there's a higher expectation now, and I wonder, like we're just throwing names at the wall right now. Like the High Point coach, Flynn Kaman, is that somebody that you go again because that would be the one, I guess, outside of St. Louis? It was like, well, they had that big win over Wisconsin,
Right.
and they took Arkansas to the wire, but he's only been the coach there for 2 years, so it's like, are you going to roll the dice on a guy that's, he's had success, but he's only been to that school for a couple of years, and it would be very interesting to see what direction they would ultimately go in that search. But personally, hopefully they don't get to that point. But
Right.
I think there's certainly, you have to at least open your mind to the idea, if you're an Alabama fan, that Nate Oates could leave for a job like North Carolina or Kansas if that opens, because those are basketball schools, and he is a coach that, he started at the high school ranks doing this simply because he loves coaching basketball.
Mhm.
And it would be hard to turn down the opportunity to get a pay raise and go to a program or a university where basketball is the lifeblood of that athletic department. And they're blue bloods, either one of those.
Yeah.
So, not saying he's leaving, not saying he's staying. I hope he stays. I think most Alabama people want him to stay, but you're going to take the phone call.
Because that's another thing too. Even because we have people that say like, "Hey, Nate Oates, pack your bags, you're gone." But realistically, what would you not necessarily accept, but who would you want to be the next guy? Because I think that the pool, like, it's different for an Alabama head football coach becomes open as opposed to basketball, because of the fact that you're replacing the great one, but also you're replacing a great one in Nate Oates, because you've reached heights you've never reached before on the basketball setting. So not everything is going to be a settle, but it's going to feel a little bit of a, dang, are they established enough? Like Kalen DeBoer, for example, stepping in after, again, his team just played for a national championship, and now he takes that Alabama head football job. In basketball, it's, well, okay, do we want somebody that, kind of like Antoine Petway, it's somebody that's coached under Nate Oates, or somebody from the similar background, a similar style of Nate Oates, or do you want a guy that may have been established somewhere, won a bunch of games, but maybe fizzled on the way out, and you looked at Alabama as a resurgence, but the track record speaks for itself. But also, when you look at a lot of these major programs, kind of everybody's in a good spot as far as when, I'll ride this wave as long as I possibly can. So, like,
see, and I go around. Okay, so going around the SEC quickly, see, I don't think Mark Byington would leave Vanderbilt for Alabama right now.
I don't think so either.
Like, would you go and hire, would Chris Jans excite you at Mississippi State? I think he's a solid coach, but
Right.
he's certainly not Nate Oates. And I guess that's my thing is, do you go for a hire like that where it's maybe more of a known commodity, someone that can, he can win in the SEC, he can get you to the tournament, maybe not every year, but, somewhat consistently, or do you roll the dice and go and hire the next Nate Oates? Right. And I think that is the direction. I would think they would be more likely to go in that direction of, well, we were able to, Greg Byrne, I was able to identify Nate Oates. See, that was a fit.
Right.
Brought him then, so why would you not trust me to go and do that again? And that's why I think you would maybe go another route. Okay, so somebody just texted it. We talked about this in one of the breaks earlier. Somebody texted him, Bucky, you're not winning that bidding war.
With A&M?
I don't think that's happening. And he took him he didn't have a full off season to put a roster together, and he still took him to the NCAA tournament, won a game.
Yeah.
I know they got blown out by Houston, but most teams would get blown out by Houston. I think, again, if this was a year ago, that is the most obvious answer in the world. Like, that is the easiest hire you could ever have to make if you're Greg Byrne, probably. But you're not going to win a bidding war with Texas A&M, and I don't think they're in a position to where after 1 year be like, we made it to the tournament, but we're not in love with you yet. So yeah, if you want to go, we'll let you go. No.
And really and truly, Bucky would be able to parlay that to, like, somebody's going to give me a bunch of money to coach this program. But I honestly think that he would. Like, if money was no issue, I think
he would want to come home.
He would
and
come
do
back.
That.
He would come back.
I could, let's see if I can find what his buyout is real quick.
It's probably something outrageous.
Oh, that was his Sanford buyout.
Oh, well, yeah, we know that one.
His contracts. he's only making $3 million a year. He signed a 5-year, $16 million contract. So I would imagine, I mean, his buyout's probably maybe $5 million. Like it's not going to be very high. But I would think that, again, if that were to happen, Texas A&M would probably pretty quickly go.
Here's a contract renewal. We'll bump you up to 10.
It's probably around 4 right now. It was 5 after the first year and decreasing $1 million per year.
Okay, so it'd be at 4. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just.
But I'm with you too. Like it's the money.
Yeah. Again, I think if you could go and get Bucky if Nate Oates left, absolutely, that's the guy that you go and get. But I just, yeah, I don't know about that. And Nate Oates is making what, about 6? Let's see, he made $5.5 million this year.
Mm-hmm. You could get it. Alabama could do it. As much as you donate to the Alabama athletics programs, y'all would be able.
So he's coming for free, basically. Is that he's coming for free. That sounds good.
That's like we can make that work.
I'd be fine with that.
Callum brings up a great point. He texts in 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls always welcome here on Mac and Q. If he said if I had to pick from the SEC, why not Mike White?
Because Mike White doesn't have a great track record in the postseason.
Yeah,
I think what he's done at Georgia is really impressive.
For sure.
What he did at Florida, not really. Like
it's what followed you up.
He was fine. Yeah, and that also is going to jade that perspective a little bit because you were followed up by a guy that won a national championship. But I like Mike White. I think what he did at Georgia is good. Again, similar style. They score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you've got a fan base now that's, again, as bought in as you're going to have an Alabama fan base into basketball.
Right.
I just don't know if you're going to be able to sell them on bringing in an SEC head coach that, I mean, to be fair, he did beat Nate Oates when they played last. I don't think that excites you as much as the intrigue. For me personally, that would not excite me.
Okay.
I would rather go with the St. Louis guy.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think that's, and I'm with you too. Like it's,
I don't think Mike White's a bad coach. It's just
right. It's not a bad hire, but it's also not a good to great either. Like it's just,
and I mean, Nate Oates is top 10 coach in college basketball.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If he leaves, you're not getting somebody that's of that caliber immediately. You're hoping you can get somebody that develops into that in 3 years. Give him a contract, Greg Byrne. Give him a new contract.
He ain't going.
Lock him.
We'll keep the conversation going on the other side. We get to some of your text. We'll keep the conversation going on the other side. We get to some of your text messages. 205-834-9450. Your text and calls on the other side. If Alabama were to lose Nate Oates to North Carolina, again hypothetically speaking, who would you like to see as the head coach? I keep it locked right here on Mac and Q. Welcome back into McElroy. Damian, John, and Conrad here with you. It's funny.